Quick recap. Books 1 and 2. Book 1, Stars of the Silent Accord. The spiral is discovered, devours memory. Captain Lira Myles and crew seal the breach with the seed key. Book 2, The Spiral Remains. Reality returns patched. Bloom tech fragments escape. Lira anchors one true thread, but knows stolen fragments can still rewrite worlds. Now, a rogue Accord hero wants to forge the perfect timeline, no matter how many others burn.
Autumn blue sparks arced across the docking ring as Peregrine Station, a neutral Accord trade hub, erupted in silence. Bloom-laced explosives, pure white, memory reactive, detonated against power conduits. Within seconds, half the ring flickered out of existence, replaced by unfinished echoes of a different station that had never been built. On the Aegis, alarms blared. "Emergency beacon," shouted Harrow. Source, Peregrine. They claim Admiral Kael Renard is responsible. Renard, once the Accord's youngest fleetmaster, public hero of the Vexari peace, had vanished months earlier. A moment later, an unauthorized transmission hijacked every channel. Renard's face appeared, familiar, charismatic, calm. "Citizens of the Accord, your patchwork reality is failing. I will secure one pristine timeline, the Continuum, where suffering is never written. Follow or be forgotten." The transmission ended with coordinates. A rim world named Helix 4. Renard's next correction. Lira clenched the rail. He's weaponized Bloom Tech and made himself curator of history. Relic's frills flattened. If he anchors that world, the ripple could erase everything upchain. Lira nodded. Helm, max burn to Helix 4. We stop Renard, or the galaxy becomes his draft paper. Helix 4's sky shimmered wrong. Half desert red, half lush green, like two realities fighting over the same sphere. Renard's strike cruisers orbited in geometric formation, Bloom lattice projectors carving memory sigils into the upper atmosphere. The Aegis dropped behind the planet's moon. Lira addressed the away team, herself, Relic, Imani, and covert specialist Lieutenant Mara Chen. Mission: infiltrate the main projector, steal Renard's Continuum key, a Bloom algorithm derived from the seed key, then broadcast a counter-thread. Surface. Projector. Array dust storms blinked in and out as the team advanced. Buildings around them morphed between colonial huts and sleek arcologies, evidence of Renard's live edits. Mara planted dampeners. Local reality thinning, 10 minutes before the next overwrite. Inside the projector core, they found a holomap, dozens of worlds already queued for correction. At the center, Peregrine Station, now labeled Failed Patch. Imani accessed a console. Found the Continuum Keys seed file. Copying. Renard's voice filled the chamber, calm but edged. "Lira, I knew you'd understand. Let me show you a future where the spiral never harmed anyone." A door opened. Renard stepped in, unarmed, wearing a uniform stitched with Bloom filaments. "Talk fast," Lira said, rifle steady. Renard gestured to the morphing sky overhead. "This planet's original timeline ends in famine. I've replaced it with prosperity. Why cling to chaos when we can compose perfection?" Lira shook her head. "Perfection for some, erasure for others. You're deleting lived lives." Renard sighed. "Memories are mercifully brief. History deserves editors." He tapped a wrist node. The room folded. Reality lurched. The away team found themselves on the Aegis bridge, an alternate version where Renard sat in the captain's chair and the seed key core was empty. Lira forced her focus, gripping her rifle. "This is illusion." "Possibility," Renard corrected. "Choose it, and suffering stops." Imani whispered, "If he gets the seed key, he'll hardlock this timeline." Relic raised his sidearm. Then we fight for the messier truth. The false bridge shimmered, panels breathing like liquid glass. Renard's seated figure faced forward, his voice echoing over ghost systems. Renard, soft, persuasive. Lira, history isn't a diary, it's an engine. Let me fix its misfires. Lira steadied her rifle, eyes scanning for a projector node. Your edit starts with famine and ends with chains. A pulse rippled from Renard's chair. Holographic restraints snapped around Mara and Imani, pinning them in place. Relic lunged and sliced through the restraints with a portable grav knife, proof this was an illusion overlaying real space. Reality bleed plus 30% flashed across phantom status boards. Imani shouted, "The Continuum key is here, overlaying the real projector. If we sever its sync, we break his hold." Lira fired at a bloom filament running along the deck. The illusion pixelated. Behind it, the real projector chamber returned in fragments. Renard stood, annoyance flickering across his features. "You're clinging to shattered glass." He extended a hand. Threads of bloom energy snaked toward the seed key holster on Lira's belt, tugging at reality like a magnet. Relic intercepted, thrusting his own memory spike into the floor. A sharp snap of discordant light burst outward, stunning Renard. Mara broke free, diving toward the holomap console. Uploading counter thread. Progress bar, 12%, 49%, 88%. Renard recovered, eyes blazing. With a gesture, walls folded inward, attempting to purge foreign code. 99%? Imani yelled. "We need a signature memory, something powerful enough to seal the patch." Lira closed her eyes, recalling the day she first saw Earth united under one sky after the Spiral War. Hope. Fragile, but brilliant. She slammed that memory into the spike. Patch locked. The projector imploded in a silent flash. When vision cleared, they were back on the real bridge of the Aegis. No Renard, no restraints. The projector array on Helix 4 reduced to inert crystal. Harrow's voice crackled over comms. "Projector network collapsing planet-wide. Renard's ships are retreating to fold." Lira exhaled. "Status of the Continuum key seed?" Imani held up a data shard. "Copied before detonation. We have his blueprint." Relic's frills trembled in wary satisfaction. "Round one to us, but Renard still holds dozens of projectors." Lira nodded. "Plot intercept course. We're pulling thread after thread until his perfect timeline unravels." The jump to light speed felt longer than usual, each crew member alone with thoughts of the worlds Renard had already queued for deletion. In the dim glow of the conference alcove, Imani spread the stolen Continuum key blueprint across a holotable. "His next correction isn't a colony," she said, voice tense. "It's New Carthage, an Accord founding world, population 800 million. Relic's frills blanched. "Erase that planet's history and the Accord never forms. We'd all splinter. Maybe start the Spiral War again." Lira pinched the bridge of her nose. "Renard's rewriting the origin story so no one can oppose him." Harrow chimed in from the bridge. "Captain, we're picking up a refugee vessel adrift on intercept vector. Hull shows mixed reality scars. Half its compartments don't match the registry." "Bring them aboard," Lira ordered. "Survivors may carry memory evidence." Hangar Bay. The refugee craft docked. Hatch doors hissed open, revealing families huddled in corridors split by bloom distortions. One doorway led to a pristine lounge, the next into twisted metal that shouldn't exist. A weary magistrate stepped forward. "Renard's fleet hit us with a harmonic pulse. People started remembering lives they'd never lived. Some were overwritten mid-sentence." Lira's jaw tightened. "Did he broadcast a message?" The magistrate nodded. He said New Carthage will be perfected, join or vanish. Relic glanced at Imani. He's seeding fear as consent. The more timelines fracture, the easier his lock becomes. Briefing room. Imani ran simulations. The blueprint shows Renard needs a primary anchor memory from New Carthage's past to finalize the lock. He'll plant it in the planet's core projector. Mara frowned. What qualifies as anchor? Imani enlarged a data spike. A memory shared by millions. Something iconic. New Carthage's planetary unification speech, for example. Lira stared at the projection. Then we hijack the anchor before he does. Replace it with a counter memory that rejects single timeline dominance. Relic arched a brow. Which memory? Lyra's gaze hardened. One Renard won't see coming because it's mine. Lyra's personal log. When I was 8, I watched Earth's nations sign the Accord Charter. It wasn't perfect. It was messy, loud, human. But that imperfection saved us from isolation. If Renard believes perfection is born from control, I'll remind the galaxy it's born from choosing chaos together. Bridge. Final approach. New Carthage loomed ahead. A marble blue world honeycombed with bloom projector arrays already sparking to life. Harrow's voice dropped. Renard's dreadnought just folded in, escorted by 3 strike carriers. Lira rose, seed key holstered at her side. All hands. This isn't a battle for another timeline. It's for the right of every timeline to exist. She glanced at the crew. We insert, swap the anchor, and broadcast the true memory to every projector. Renard's lock shatters. Or we do. Imani gripped the data spike. Ready. Relic loaded his grav rifle. Thread intact. Mara smirked. Let's rewrite the editor. The Aegis plunged toward New Carthage, into the heart of Renard's perfect storm. Low orbit. Stealth drop. The Aegis released 2 cloaked insertion pods that streaked toward New Carthage's night side. Lira, Relic, Imani, and Mara occupied Pod 1. A decoy marine squad filled Pod 2 to draw Renard's attention. Descent timer. 90 seconds. 60. 30. Renard's dreadnought scanned the upper atmosphere with bloom lattice beams, but the pod's seed key mesh refracted their signatures. Mara whispered over comms. Touchdown in a memory storm. Keep your realities tight. Planetary surface. Archive Plaza. The projector complex crowned a gleaming plaza where hollow statues commemorated New Carthage's founding. Under Renard's edits, some statues flickered into idealized versions, polished, larger than life. Others glitched half-erased, phasing between marble and dust. Imani scanned. Anchor memory node beneath central plinth. That's our target. Relic spotted patrol drones, bloom-forged sentries swirling with data streams. We go silent. Mara deployed jammers. The team slipped into a service conduit and descended to the subterranean hall housing the anchor core, a crystalline sphere pulsing with holographic echoes of the unification speech. But a lone figure awaited them. Admiral Renard, hands clasped, calm. No guards, Lira said, rifle raised. Overconfident? Renard smiled. Merely prepared. You can't swap the anchor, Lira. I've replaced it with something stronger. Your own childhood memory. The crowd on Earth, the cheering, your hope. Millions already resonate with it. Imani's eyes widened. He hijacked your imprint from the seed key logs. Renard approached the sphere. Inside, the image of young Lira watched diplomats sign the accord. This memory births unity without conflict. Isn't that what you want? Lira lowered her weapon a fraction. Unity without honesty is tyranny. Renard opened his palm, revealing a data pulse. Join me. We'll edit the horrors away. Relic stepped forward, weapon steady. or we restore the messy truth. Mara whispered to Imani. Backup plan? Imani nodded, sliding a miniature spike to Mara. She spoke aloud. Admiral, memories gain power from scars. Erase the struggle and the lesson dies. Renard sighed. Then you leave me no choice. He triggered a command. Walls shimmered into a bloomstorm. Reality flared, hallways duplicating, gravity twisting. Lira shouted, Mara, now! Mara hurled the spike into the anchor core. It detonated in a flash of blue-white static. The sphere fractured, two halves spinning apart, anchor memory destabilizing. Renard roared as feedback arced into him. You'll doom billions to suffering. Lira grabbed the seed key, channeled a stabilizing pulse. Her memory of the founding speech merged with its imperfect aftermath. Debates, protests, fragile peace. The core reformed, now pulsing with truthful unity, not utopia. Alarms blared across the city as Renard's lock unraveled. His dreadnought's beams flickered out. Renard weakened, glared. You cannot stop the continuum. I'll rewrite again. He activated a fold translocator and vanished. Imani scanned. He jumped to deep fold, unknown destination, but his projector network is collapsing. Relek helped Lira steady. We won this verse, Captain, Lira exhaled, until Renard writes the next page. She turned to the restored hologram, the imperfect speech echoing through the chamber. At least now the galaxy remembers why imperfection matters. Harrow's voice came over comms. Projectors offline planet-wide. New Carthage stabilizing. Lira holstered her rifle. Team, exfil. We hunt Renard's trail before he pens the final draft. Minutes after extraction, the Aegis breached fold space on Renard's last known jump vector. The ship's hull thrummed. Deep fold corridors were unstable. Paths seldom traversed because physics and chronology misbehaved. Harrow studied the nav hollow. We're chasing a ghost. No standard wake signature. Imani placed the seed key into the resonance cradle. Renard's translocator leaves a bloom trace. We can piggyback if we're willing to see what he sees. Lira nodded. Do it. But lock a 2-minute cutoff. No longer. The key pulsed. The viewport filled with cascading star ribbons, memories streaking like comets. A corridor materialized, an impossible road of shredded timelines. Relek inhaled sharply. One ribbon showed Earth burning beneath twin suns. Another showed Lira never leaving the Academy. All possible, none real. The ship lurched onto the spectral path. Alarms chirped. Temporal drift climbing, Harrow warned. Hull chrono variance at 8 seconds and climbing. Mara, at tactical, spotted a blip ahead. Contact. Renard's dreadnought but fragmented. Looks wounded. Indeed, the massive vessel flickered, half-tangible. Sections phased between pristine metal and cracked crystal. Lira. Damage from the anchor backlash. Good, let's end this. Boarding operation. Dreadnought shard deck. Using micro-fold tethers, an away trio, Lira, Relek, Mara, crossed onto the fractured dreadnought. Imani remained on the Aegis bridge to keep the fold corridor stable. The interior was a maze of overlapping corridors. Voices whispered. Snatches of Renard's speeches looping, glitched. Mara scanned. Bridge core split across realities. We'll need to synchronize segments to find him. Relek placed 3 memory beacons at node junctions. The overlapping passages aligned, revealing a central atrium where Renard knelt, struggling to restitch crashed code. He looked up, haggard. You shouldn't be here. The corridor is collapsing. If I don't lock a timeline, all timelines will bleed. Lira leveled her weapon. Then we find a third path, one that isn't yours, or chaos. Renard's eyes flicked to a containment cradle behind him. Inside, a shard of the original spiral breach, raw and seething. Relic hissed. He plans to feed that into the seed key, force a singular outcome. Renard activated a shield. I'll bear the sin, so the galaxy never does again. He stepped toward the shard. Mara drew twin grav blades. Captain, orders? Lira weighed the hallway, flickering at the edges. Chrono variance climbing. If the shard merged with the corridor, the entire deep fold might tear open. She spoke calmly. We take the shard, not Renard. Stop the merge. Relic threw a beacon blade. It struck the shield emitter, shorting it. Mara vaulted, blades humming, intercepting Renard. Lira lunged for the shard, gripping it with insulated gauntlets. The raw memory burned with impossible visions. Imani's urgent voice crackled. Fold corridor destabilizing. 30-second window. Renard grappled with Mara, shouting, You'll doom every innocent timeline. Lira, cradling the shard, called back, No. We'll let every timeline choose. She triggered the retrieval tether. Relic and Mara disengaged, hauling Renard with them as the team yanked back toward the Aegis. The moment their boots hit deck, Imani severed the corridor. The dreadnought fractured behind them, imploding into silent luminescence. On the Aegis bridge, Renard slumped in restraints, eyes fixed on the shard now resting inside a containment field. Lira faced him. You wanted a pristine story. The galaxy wants the messy anthology. Help us stabilize the corridor network, or watch your continuum die with you. Renard closed his eyes, defeated but not broken. There is another way. Renard's eyes remained closed as the containment field glowed around the spiral shard. The bridge lights flickered with residual temporal static, casting fractured shadows across every console. Lira kept her tone measured. Start talking. What other way? Renard opened his eyes. No defiance, only exhaustion. Locking one timeline is impossible now. You prove that. But the Bloom Shard can weave a concert. Multiple realities sustained in harmony. It needs two conductors. One to hold order, one to hold chaos. Relic crossed his arms. And you expect us to trust you as order while we play chaos? Renard shook his head. I'm offering to share the burden, not rule. The corridor network is collapsing. Millions of microfold refugees already wander outside causality. If we don't stabilize soon, every timeline phrase. Imani scanned the shard's oscillations. He's right about instability. Variance up 12% since containment. Mara frowned. Could be a stalling tactic. Lira paced. Hypothetical. We create a dual conductor lattice using the seed key and the shard. We anchor choice itself. Let each civilization decide which thread to follow. Renard nodded. Exactly. A council of memories. I resign my continuum, you withdraw your crusade, we guide the galaxy into plural reality. No more editor, no more annihilation. Silence fell. Relic broke it. We'll need a neutral nexus to deploy such a lattice. Harrow pulled up nav data. There's one, Station Delphi. Old pre-Accord hub, still afloat in unclaimed space. Its core houses an ancient quantum choir. Perfect resonance platform. Lira looked at Renard. You sabotage this. I broadcast every crime you've hidden to all timelines. Renard managed a faint smile. Fair trade. Lira turned to the crew. Set course for Station Delphi. It's time we compose together, or the galaxy falls silent. Approach. Vector Station. Delphi drifted ahead. An ancient ring world of ivory hull plates and flickering amber beacons. Its surface sang faint electromagnetic hymns, a leftover safeguard from pre-Accord quantum choir experiments. Harrow's scans scrolled red. Life support minimal, No recognized transponder, but the resonance core is awake. Imani's pulse quickened. That core can braid bloom frequencies across timelines. Perfect for Renard's concert or for catastrophic feedback. Renard, wrists bound but free to speak, stepped forward. Delphi's choir predates even the spiral. Treat it with reverence, or it will turn on you. Lira eyed him. Advice noted. Docking collar. Deck 0 bulkheads. Yawned open, releasing stale, spark-laden air. Dim corridors pulsed with faint choral tones, voices overlapping in languages no translator could parse. Mara swept the hall. No hostiles, but the station's memory mesh is active. Watch for reality slips. Central choir chamber. A cathedral-like space housed concentric rings of crystal pylons. In the center, an ancient console with twin conduits perfectly sized for the seed key and bloom shard. Imani whispered, "Seed of the council." Renard looked genuinely humbled. "Place the seed key first. It will call the choir." Relek eyed him. "Any tricks, and the choir sings your memories to dust." Lira inserted the seed key. The pylons ignited, projecting holographic silhouettes. Countless species, past and future, like an audience of echo souls. Then the station shook. Harrow's panicked voice crackled over comms. "Captain, multiple fold spikes, unknown ships exiting deep fold around Delphi." View panels lit with new contacts, sleek obsidian craft with inverted spiral icons. Mara growled, "Who are they?" Renard's face paled. "My contingency. The Continuum Guard. They were to ensure the lock if I failed." Lyra's eyes hardened. "Looks like your past just vetoed your truce." Relek raised his rifle. "We defend the choir. If those ships breach, they'll force a single timeline anyway." Renard stepped to the shard conduit. "Then unbind me. I'll keep them out." Lira hesitated, then sliced his cuffs. "One mistake and Delphi writes you out." Renard gripped the bloom shard, voice resolute. "Let's compose the third path." Outside, the Continuum Guard opened fire, and Station Delphi began to sing. The vast pylons of Station Delphi pulsed brighter as hostile fire rattled its outer hull. In the chamber, holographic echoes of 1,000 species shivered, waiting for the council to begin. External, space. Around Delphi Harrow's tactical hollow showed the Continuum Guard's formation, 6 obsidian spear frigates linked by bloom conduits, pushing a resonance spike toward the station's core. "Guard's beam will breach choir shields in 2 minutes," Harrow warned. Central choir chamber. Lira turned to Renard. "We need the lattice, now." Renard slotted the bloom shard into the second conduit. The pylons sang, a multi-tonal chord that vibrated bones and memories alike. Above the console, 2 interwoven spirals formed, one golden, one violet. Imani's console scrolled data. "Seed key holds order. Shard channels chaos. Ready for dual conductor input." Renard extended his hand to Lira. "Together?" She hesitated, then nodded, placing her palm on the key interface while Renard gripped the shard node. The choir flared. Echoes of timelines poured through them. Joy, loss, triumph, war, every divergent memory seeking a voice. Relek manned the defense console. "Continuum Guard charging second volley." Mara and security teams held the corridor, exchanging fire with boarding drones. The station trembled, but the choir's song grew louder, stabilizing fractured corridors. Dual conductor sequence. A holographic council table manifested. Seats filled with spectral delegates, projections of living minds across timelines. Lira spoke, voice echo-layered. "We offer a choice, multiple truths, shared responsibility." Renard's tone harmonized. "Those who seek singular perfection may depart. those who accept plurality, lend your memories to the weave. Streams of light, agreements, flowed from most delegates. A handful refused. Their seats darkened, memories withdrawing. Imani flagged an alert. Guard beam aligning with choir core, 30 seconds. Renard glanced at Lira. If we finalize the lattice before impact, choir energy will reflect their beam back through their own bloom conduits. But we need one last stabilizer, a bridge memory shared by both of us. Lira closed her eyes, searching. She and Renard had once stood together on Peregrine Station's observation deck years ago, before any spiral threat, debating idealism versus pragmatism while watching a meteor shower. She spoke softly. The night we both swore to protect the Accord. Different oaths, same sky. Renard smiled faintly. I remember. They fed the shared memory into the lattice. Climax. The choir blazed, projecting a sphere of polychromatic light around Delphi. The guard's beam struck, met the sphere, and refracted back in a cascade of mirrored timelines. Each spear frigate shuddered as its own perfection algorithms overloaded, forcing emergency foldouts. Mara cheered over comms. Guard retreating. Inside the chamber, the spirals fused into a stable helix, Delphi's new council of memories. Spectral delegates faded, leaving a soft glow in the pylons. Imani exhaled. Variant stabilized, corridor network holding at baseline. Renard stepped back, drained. It's done. Multiple realities. In concert. Lira removed her hand. No editors, just guardians. She met Renard's gaze. And guardians answered to the people. He nodded. Then I submit to their judgment. Harrow's voice came through, calmer. Galaxy-wide chatter reports reality fluctuations subsiding. Relic relaxed his rifle. For now, the anthology stands. Lira turned to the choir console, now humming like a gentle galaxy heart. Then we begin repairs. One memory at a time.